Hey y'all, good morning. We are going to start this off with, my favorite tumbler, a 24 plump from the Tipsy Magnolia. I scored it with my paper cutter, and then I'm going to go in with a piece of painter's tape just to make sure I can see the line when I go to add the vinyl. As you can tell, we're not going to prep this tumbler at all with spray paint. We're only just going to sand it down to continue with the making sure that everything that we add to it adheres properly and there's no issues. So we're going to take our vinyl. This vinyl is from Peachy Olive. It is a Christmas vinyl, a Christmas plaid. I think it's called the pink Christmas plaid. I'll have it in the description below. But we're going to press the edge of this vinyl up against that tape. And then we're just going to gently go across it with our thumbs. Don't worry about what my arms look like. I've been spray painting cups all day this day. And it was super windy here in Florida. It's been pretty chilly out. So yeah. We are going to cut away any excess once we get it onto the cup. I like to do it this way just because it makes it easier and I know how much I can take away from it once it's on the cup. We're going to gently go around the cup using our paper cutter to cradle the tumbler. I like to use the squeegee to cradle it, but it always falls off when I do this. So make it easier, I did it this way. You're going to take another piece of painter's tape, probably the same one you already had, and secure that down to create another straight edge. So when we go to cut it with our X-Acto knife, we get a straight line all the way down the entire cup. So we're going to take off the excess. We're going to take off the excess vinyl that we now have, and we are going to tug at the bottom edge just so we can make sure we got it tight, as tight as possible on the bottom and the top of the cup. And then we're just going to cut away any excess that we don't need. You can discard this, you don't need it. And then you're going to tape around that bottom. We're using the same piece of tape that we used before to go around the bottom edge of the cup to make sure that we can get a straight line as possible. Once you see the overall tumbler itself, we don't really need it to be even, but I live a life of being extra, so we're gonna take the Stencil Vinyl. This is a Oracle vinyl. You can find this on Amazon. You can just type in Oracle vinyl and it should come up for you. But we are going to use this Oracle vinyl because this is going to help us with our peekaboo that we're going to put over the plaid. Now remember, I said that we didn't spray paint the cup. We have not applied any epoxy to the cup. We are just going in with everything. So you have to be very careful when you're working with the peekaboo because you haven't applied any epoxy over the plaid. So we are going to go in with the stencil vinyl over top. So whenever you go to lift up the stencil vinyl, you just want to be as careful as possible. I normally mark mine and I'll show you guys how I did that here shortly. So we're going to go in with our transfer tape. And I kid you, it never fails. Anytime I'm working on a tutorial, I'm like, ooh, I think they'll like this. I can never find my Tech Wrap Craft transfer tape. I always have this transfer tape that I absolutely hate because it leaves residue. But yeah, I end up having to use this transfer tape. Totally fine, but whatever. So we're doing 2 SVGs on this cup. They're the same exact SVG. It says Sleigh my name, slay my name, slay my name, slay my name. You get it, Beyonce and the girls. So we are going to do that on the front and the back. When I first looked at this, I was like, I don't know how I want to do it. I want to do one on the front, and then I just have to figure out what I want to put on the back. But since the saying goes, say my name, I was like, it makes sense to put it twice. So repeated, one on the back, one on the front. Cute little play on words. So I took to Creative Fabrica, which I'll drop the link to Creative Fabrica and the font that I use for this, as well as I took to my Silhouette Cameo, and I created the SVG there. And if you guys want, just tell me in the comments if you would like to purchase this SVG. I can definitely add it to my shop as well. But it was a really quick and easy SVG to make. I just wanted something cute, something simple to go with this plaid cup. So we've added it to the tumbler, and then on the back side, I didn't put it in this video, but I went around and I started to add the additional stars that were from the other Slay My Name decal. I think I added it here, but I'm not sure because I just added this one. Yeah, so we add that on, and you need to create an anchor to best adhere it. I wanted these to line up as much as possible when they got added to the cup. So this is just me looking at the other side before I anchor that completely down and start to wedge it on with my finger. But yeah, this is it. We're going to peel back that excess transfer tape. And then we're going to continue to our next step, which our next step is going to be spray painting this cup. We used, what spray paint did we use? We used Color Shot on this, and I'll tell you guys the spray paint color in just a second. So when it comes to peekaboos of this magnitude, what I did is I went and I marked each thing, each peekaboo, so that I know where they were when I went to spray paint and when I went to epoxy and add glitter. So you should be able to see it. But first, you're going to weed everything. This is stuff that I should have done before I applied it to the cup. But I have been in such a groove the last few days that I'm just working and not consciously like noticing what I'm doing until I'm watching it back and I'm telling you guys about it. So you want to make sure you weed everything before you put it on the cup, unless it requires you to reverse weed it. That's typically with like that extra thick metallic vinyl that's really hard to weed. But for this is something that you can weed before you add it to the cup. That'll also give you a better visual aid of where you're going to place it and how it's going to look before you place it, because it's weeded beforehand. I'm a visual person in that aspect. All right, so we are going to go in with a Sharpie. Why I chose blue? Because it's the only color I had. We don't normally have Sharpies in the house, but yeah. So we are just going to go around everything on the cup and we are going to mark it off. Once I spray paint it, you guys will but you guys would still be able to see the blue lines once it's spray painted. Don't know why, don't know how, but it's super visible when I went to spray paint it, which is so crazy to me. So we are using Color Shot spray paint. The color that we're going to be using today is Island Girl. She is a teal-ish blue. Aquamarine. No, aquamarine is more like deeper blue, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, more of a teal blue. We are going to spray paint it. You'll see on one side where I gave it a heavy coat, and then the other side where I didn't. It is very vibrant in color. These cans are like $6.99 a can, I think, at Walmart. You can get them at Michael's as well. I think they're like $7.99 there. I'm not sure. But when I tell you, the quality of spray paint is so good. You don't have to do the 1,001 shakes to get the spray paint out of the can. There's going to be no clumpiness in the spray cap. Like, there's literally no issues. So we're going to take it back in, let it dry. This is a quick drying spray paint, so I let this dry for about 10 to 15 minutes before I applied any epoxy. You can wait longer. I just had a lot of time on my hands, so 15 minutes is all it took for me. So we are going to go in with 2 parts epoxy. This is going to be fast setting epoxy from Counterculture DIY. We used about 5 mLs, between 5 and 7.5 mLs. I can't remember exactly how much I used, but it was not a lot on this cup. And I did this specifically because I wanted to make sure it held a good enough amount of glitter, because I'm doing an ombre, if you will. So we are going to go in and we are going to apply that epoxy. We are going to do a hang method. Hang method is just you applying the epoxy on the cup without it being on a turner or anything like that. You're going to apply the epoxy. Make sure you mix your epoxy well before you apply it to your cup, because if it is not properly mixed, you will get fish eyes. You will get excess stickiness of your tumbler as you continue on, because the epoxy was not properly mixed before you applied it to the cup. Next, we are going to go in with our glitters. The first glitter we're going to use is from Peachy Olive. This is a beautiful glitter, and it came in the October Peachy palette, and it's called Serendipity. We are using this on the bottom of the tumbler, and we're using it on the top. So remember, I told you it really didn't matter where you cut the vinyl off because you're not going to see it. Well, this is what I was talking about. It's all going to be covered. That's what I love about peekaboos, because if you make a mistake, nobody's going to see it underneath. So we're going to use Peachy Olive Glitters Serendipity from the Peachy palette, October's Peachy palette. And we're also going to go in with Glowstick. Glowstick is it was one of the first glitters I bought from Peachy Olive when I started purchasing from them, like maybe 4 years ago. So yeah, I'm going to be using both of those glitters. So when you are doing a ombre, you always want to create your line. All right, so you're going to create the line at the top of the cup, and you'll see I start to bend that angle a little bit more as I want the glitter to fall. But when you're doing it, you want your glitter to hit that same line that you created initially, and then just let it naturally fall where it is, right? That's the whole purpose of a waterfall. So create your line. All right, you're going to start with your line, and then you're going to angle your cup. And then that's when you're going to just let the glitter just glide down the cup as you hit that top line. I hope that makes sense to y'all. In my mind, it makes sense. I think it does make sense. I showed this to some people in person as well last year, and it made a lot of sense to them when I taught it to them as well. So hopefully you guys use that trick, but yeah. So this is me adding the glitter over top of that teal-ish spray paint from Color Shot. And like I said, it's a really, really pretty teal. So all we did is just spray painted, and then we added that glow stick over top, and it has like this kind of goldish yellow undertone to it, because it is that iridescent glitter. That was the primary reason I used it. But you can also see the peekaboo underneath where I marked them off. So this is spray paint and everything over top. So you want to let your cup, after you've epoxied it, you want to let your cup sit for at least 10 to 15 minutes before you start peeling anything off. Before you even flatten your glitter, you want to at least wait 10 to 15 minutes before you do any of that. That way the epoxy has already started to harden, so you're not interrupting anything that it's done. You're going to see me kind of go through this really quickly. I'm not going to waste you guys' time with this part, just because it was a lot to weed. So I sped this part up. But this is where you'll be able to see that plaid that's underneath all of the glitter. I promise y'all this cup is super, super beautiful. You'll get to see it at the end. But yeah, I wanted to keep it simple, cute little ombre. And then offset it. I offset the letters and everything that I added to it. And I probably weeded this for about, I cut a lot of what I did out just because it was so much that was being added to this video that I'm like, let me take some of this out, because if it was me watching this, you've lost me in the first 15 minutes. So I wasn't gonna have a video that was gonna be like 60 minutes long of one tumbler. Of a large majority of it is just me weeding the cup. So you want to make sure that you also go in with your quick coat or your polycrylic. I seal mine. I give it a couple of seals, so I do this about 3 to 4 times before I apply any epoxy. That will save the amount of epoxy that you have to actually add to the cup. So I do that later. I don't do it. I do it now, so I don't have to create more work for myself in the future. It also reduces the amount of epoxy that you have to purchase. So I'm not having to use a ton of epoxy. But when I do go into epoxy this cup, I used 10 mLs to epoxy this part. And then I did another coat. That second coat was 20 mLs. So now I'm thickening my coats as I go. The last coat I applied was 30. And then I'll go back down and I'll do another coat, just depending on how rough it is, which it shouldn't be rough, or it wasn't rough. Go back down to about 15 to 20 mLs for my last coat. The final coat that I'll do is medium viscosity. That's also from Counterculture DIY. And that one I'll do about 15 mLs as well. And then just kind of add my additives to give it an extra sparkle at the end. But yeah, we are going to epoxy it, let it sit. When it comes to facet, excuse me. When it comes to facet, your facet is going to cure within about 2 hours. Once you apply it to the cup, depending on how cold your area or how warm your area is. It's been cool here, so they've been curing a lot slower. But I keep a space heater in my room, so it's a little bit warmer here. Next, this is where we're going to start to add on our peekaboo parts, I guess you can say. I just wanted this to be an offset to what we already applied to the cup. So this will sit in between that offset that we've created for Sleigh My Name, and it'll be on the back and the front. And I did it for the stars as well. So that pink, that teal, everything is kind of popping with the tumbler. So the colors that I've applied, that pink is really pulling that teal out of the cup. It's super cute, y'all. Like, oh, she's cute. She's super cute. But I'll add it to my website if anybody is interested as well. So that'll be up there. I also have a drop of embroidered sweatshirts. So if you guys did not know, I have embroidered sweatshirts that I will be officially dropping at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be listed on my website as well. But this is going to be the finale for the cup. It is super cute. We're going to finish adding all these stars. We're going to finish adding all the Sleigh My Names. And thank you guys for always being here and being super supportive, supporting my channel. We didn't get to celebrate before, but I'm going to celebrate right now that we hit 1,000 followers. And I appreciate you guys so much. I have been super inconsistent, but things have changed a lot in my life in the last, I don't know, 30 to 45 days. So you will definitely be seeing a lot of me. Tell me if you like this. Comment, like, subscribe, share, do all the things. Follow me on my social medias. I'll be at TumblerCon, so if you're seeing this, TumblerCon tickets will be on sale.